Yo, what is good? My anime faithful, what is good, yo? Guys, holy crap. What the heck is going on, guys? Black Clover this week. Alright, so let's talk about these new changes and entries to what we've been seeing thus far. With Yuno, I kind of expected him to have some like factuation with swordsmanship, or at least some shape of like wanting to do what Asta does, so he can just like kind of prove the fact that he's better than him. You know, they kind of have that kind of rivalry. Like, if you can use swords, I clearly can master swords in like 2 seconds. Um, which I don't think we've ever seen Yuno actually wield a weapon, seeing how magic is the strongest weapon in this verse. Um, it makes it like one of those obvious nods to like clearly he's been watching and clearly he's been patiently, you know, waiting for maybe a moment where he can himself step up and make one of these types of weapons out of his own magic, which somehow by making it, it became the one thing capable of actually touching the demon, unlike a lot of other moves in general could not touch the demon boils that were all over the place, and then on top of that, it couldn't really even touch the demon himself, which it didn't end up actually slicing him, but seeing how it could destroy multiple things that he created that was capable of destroying some ridiculously powerful stuff or not even being phased by some powerful magic. It's clear as day how ridiculously powerful Yuno made this sword at the end of the time. So not only are we looking pretty good for the future of this show, but if anything really is to be taken from this, Yami is the GOAT, my lord. Not only does he have no visual of this person who's in the middle of battle, in the middle of combat, could be dodging around, fighting and whatnot. He has no visual of it. He just has to go off of sensing the key of his evil malice and stuff like that. But the only real saving grace to help him even further in the case of finding his target and hitting its mark was the elf that has taken over the prickly queen's body. I love his nicknames for people. It reminds me of myself. Like, I can't remember name, or I can remember names, I just can't pronounce them well. So why embarrass myself in pronouncing them when I can just give you a description? And then Yami comes into the store and he's like, "Oh, I'll give you even a better way to know these people's names." And here you go. It's like a whole bunch of funny, like off-putting like names, or like Shorty and stuff like that, you know. Um, but with Yami doing his dimensional slice from such a distance and still hitting its target and still being the real reason why Yuno and Asta actually come out practically alive in this situation is nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And if you were to tell me that the Black Bulls aren't the strongest team, I would laugh. Like, the Black Bulls have now stamped and certified their spots on being the strongest guild, including with Asta at this new level of demon control. Excuse me, which we were seeing. God, I got the hiccups. We were seeing quite a transition um, between him and his hair, and how much is being taken over by the demon, which also showed us just how deep this story narrative for him having this sword kind of runs back to, right? Um, it's a really clearing up situation when the girl who was a bird this whole time gives us the answers we need in the case of like, hey, I was following you because I thought I could use you. I thought I could maybe even see you losing that book to someone else that I think is more, deserving at that time could have it. But learning you and learning what you actually brought to the table, and it wasn't just the weapons, because those weapons could have been taken a long time ago, right? We already seen that, the reincarnated version or like the reawakening version of Lich got his hands on it pretty quickly, right? Like he got his hands on one of Asta's swords with the swiftness. And if it wasn't Asta, all these people who actually had magic are relatively slow on their feet, or they don't really have any combat prowess because magic rules the world. So why would I be good at with my fist? Or like for Yuno's sake, why would I be good with a sword when I can just hit you so far away you won't even be able to touch me with it? So I don't know. I truly, truly do think great stuff can come from the show. The problem is, can they live up to this hype that they have now built upon here and need to continue further down the line the story? Like, is there stuff that you think can pop off in Black Clover that will keep you interested? Because at the end of this week's episode, it hit me, man. Like seeing her tell him that he's going to be Wizard King, that she can see him being the next Wizard King, that you know, just everything that we've been through, man. It's been a journey, and to think that I shared it with like a certain amount of people is awesome because not only did I share it with you guys, I also shared it with Asta, and I truly, truly appreciate being able to be a part of this. And on Twitter, it is blowing up. This thing is blowing up. It might not be trending, but my God, it is blowing up. And to think that the demon would continuously make my point stand much stronger and taller than I thought was him continuously saying, "Oh, this devil, like this is a different devil. This power, whose devil's power is this?" Like he knows for a fact it's not him who gave Asta this power. He knows for a fact that I think once this Grimlar was created, it created a new demon with it. Like the whole story was telling. It's like the four-leaf clover is luck and blah blah blah, but the five-leaf clover harvest is a demon or something. I gotta go back and see those exact lines. If it harvests a demon inside, or it's the creation of a demon, which could be the demon version of, I guess, Lich, the person that was who owned the book and then was turned, which is really interesting because being Lich's like unborn son that he never really got to meet, or like his bloodline that he never got to meet and got born and dropped off at the orphanage. That his actual son, and then once he actually loses his life and becomes that demon or whatever, he as a demon maybe is what we're seeing in the devil's eyes once Austin's about to take his life. Maybe that's a demon form of Lich or something. Some demon was created through all of this, and or he was already there. Like after Lich did what he did and became what he became, maybe that's when he himself put himself and resided in that book as soon as it was opened. Because as we see, these demons want their own book so they can have their own bodies, but maybe demons are supposed to stay in said book to continuously give their powers to an owner instead of just becoming their own owners and doing what they're doing. Because we even know fairies exist. We know these like spirit or not fairies, these spirits exist that exist on a much higher level of being able to use magic and being able to just conquer it and use it at their own free will. Not only that, give all their power to their owner. So it's really getting interesting as a whole, because not only are we going to see just what the heck is going to come at the end of the day with Asta and grinding for Wizard King and having multiple people be in their way supposedly to also try to stop him. But my goodness, man, this week's episode is what I look forward to in all types of shows that have true build-ups and have true ways of actually playing on those build-ups to make them awesome, make them exciting, make them worthwhile. And I feel like Black Clover has done that and gone beyond. The other thing I wanted to kind of touch up on is just the prince and how the sword reacted to him being so close. Like, Asta had no control at one point and ends up slapping the first Wizard King, which gives me even more indication that there's a demon in there, and the demon might not even really care for, the prince and all them. So that's also kind of sketch, right? Like, what the heck does that mean for the overall narrative of the show when it comes down to uh, if they're going to continuously use Asta's weapon and he's going to get stronger? We see how ridiculous his weapon looks at the end of this week's episode. Where does that then put us as viewers to see growth wise? Like, every time he kept growing with his sword, the black kept taking more and more over of his hair, of his body, of everything. So that's kind of my reasoning behind him really kind of touching pace with something he probably doesn't want to, right? Like with the devil that's actually inside of this book that could maybe cause the next rift in the present to make the future have to deal with what's going on if it can't be taken care of at the end of the day. So this is getting crazy, guys. I honestly have told you time and time again that Black Clover is greatness, and for people to be like, it's not the top three, it's not one of the big three, I don't care what it is, okay? Whatever it is, it's amazing, and not only is it amazing, it's still putting forward more and more storytelling that people have never seen in their anime in quite some time when it comes down to actually having plot twists, when it comes down to setting up stuff from the beginning and actually having it pay off well at the end. So, congratulations. If you've been watching Black Clover, you actually might know what good animes and manga are looking like, because a lot of stuff have lost their touch with suspense and all this stuff, and I think Black Clover is doing it quite well, because even after the end of this and seeing how Asta and get close and slap him and cut him up and he moves his heart around, that's another instance of, hey, the heroes are much, much stronger, but they're still not the end all be all of the show. Just imagine a point in time where we can say Asta and can solo devils by themselves, and that just kind of also gives me a thought process of what would the Wizard King be able to bring to this battle, if not destroy him in this battle. So overall, my anime people, have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I am ecstatic to see these types of episodes because, man, Twitter is blowing up with all this stuff. I promised a video soon. I'm trying to get it out as quickly as possible. So, with all that being said, I'm going to shut up and peace.